Hi, so in this next video in this Teams training series, we're going to talk about and I'll show you how you can use Microsoft Teams to store your files, make sure they're shared with each other within Teams, talk a bit about permissions again, and then how you can use Teams to collaboratively work, or as Microsoft call it, co-author a document. So we'll open up a Word document and you'll be able to see how both parties can see what each other is working on, chat, etc. So for this, I'm going to use my newsletter content and ideas team, and you can see we have our channels there. So we had our February newsletter in there. And while there's nothing actually in the chat side of the Teams, we go to the Files tab at the top here. What we have in here now are a series of folders. So let's go through that again. We've got the Team, which is newsletter content and ideas. We've then got the channel, which is issue 7, February 20. And then within the channel, we go to Files, and we have our usual files and folders that we are used to seeing, say, on a server or on your computer itself. So these are box standard files and folders, nothing different to them outside of Teams. So we have divided our folders and files up in this area by actually the content we have to produce for the newsletter. So we have a folder for our cover story and a folder for the how-to guide. And using the menu along the top here is how you can add folders, create documents. I'll just take you through a few of those options. So you've got the new option there, and if you were to click the arrow next to new, you can create, like I say, a new folder, a new Word doc, Excel, etc. The usual Microsoft applications you would expect to find. Now, clicking a new document there, and let's do it in this for a Word document, will actually ask you to create a document, give it a name. And then what you're actually doing is using the Word Online version within Microsoft Teams. You can see it loading up there. So if you haven't used any of the online version of the Microsoft apps, they are pretty much the same. As you can see there, Word looks and feels the same. But it is a cut down feature set of the desktop applications. So if you have any existing Word docs with heavy formatting, say headers, footers, background images, that kind of thing, they can sometimes be problematic in the online version of Word and Excel, etc. You can see there we've got a document to create. You don't save anything because everything just auto saves automatically. Once you finish, you literally just close the document, and that is it. You'll then see here we've got the test document that I just created. It was created a few seconds ago, and who it was created by. When you hover over a document, you get the ellipses there, the 3 dots at the end of the file name. If you click on there, you get some options of where to open that. So you can open in Word Online, you can open it on Word on your computer, or you can actually edit it within Teams itself. You can copy a link, you can download the file, or you can delete the file, or you can move and copy it somewhere else. Just like your file and folder structure on your computers or your servers, you would move things around as and when you need to. Okay, so that's how you would create a new folder or document. For now, I'm going to delete this one. There we go. Are you sure you want to send it to a recycle bin? Yes, I am. And you can do that for multiple documents by using the selection toggles at either side of the documents or folders. So if you had a document already on your laptop or something that wasn't already in Teams and you wanted to put it in Teams, there's two ways you could do this. You can simply drag and drop documents into Teams as you drag them over. You can then release and it will simply upload them, or you can choose the upload option here, which will give you your typical file and folder view where you then upload the folders from. Okay, this next icon I will do a separate video on. It is a synchronize icon where you can synchronize teams and channels and files to your computer, which is perfect when you are going to be having times when you're working offline or you have particularly large documents that you need to work on. So, for example, I synchronize some elements of my work to my laptop because I often work on them when I'm traveling, when I'm on a train or something like that. And all that happens is that all the latest copies are constantly synced to my laptop, and then I can work on them whenever I want, wherever I want. And when I get to the hotel, the other end or whatever, and connect to the Wi-Fi, any changes I've made are simply uploaded back to Teams. You've got the copy link, so that is actually copying a link to a file. I don't particularly use this that much, but you can use it when sharing documents outside of the organization. I would recommend a different way of doing that, which again, I'll cover off in another video later on. Download, again, you can download full files and folders if you needed to. If you, I don't know, for some reason need to put them on some media to go elsewhere, if they were particularly large, like I say, you can download them there. And again, this add cloud storage we spoke about a bit earlier on, where you can add external storage such as Google Drive or Dropbox, so it appears alongside your Teams channels folders. It brings, like I say, particularly useful if you're already using one of those solutions and you want to transition to Teams as you go along. As with anywhere in Microsoft Teams, if you see the ellipsis, just click it and you can get even more options. Here I've got open in SharePoint. Now SharePoint is what is driving the files and folders within Teams anyway. Sometimes it is useful to open it in SharePoint, and that just literally opens a web page where you see pretty much the same as what you do in Teams, but there are some more powerful features which I won't go into now, but can be useful sometimes. Right, so what I'm going to do for now is I'm going to go into this how-to guide that was in our last newsletter, and here we go. I can see there's a how-to guide created for creating a poll in Microsoft Teams. So I'm going to go into the document. I simply click on it, and that opens within Teams on my machine. Now, you'll see the document loads. It's got images. The formatting is correct. But what you'll now see as well is actually Ian is within this document, and he's going to be able to co-author that with me. So I can see that because up the top right-hand side there, you can see the I, and there's Ian. He's actually inactive here at the moment. So what I could do is I can just ask for a conversation to be started, and I can send him a message. You good to check this doc? There we go, and it actually puts a link to the document within there. Okay, so we can see there, Ian says, sure, no problem. And we can continue on the chat there. Or what you can also see is that Ian's cursor, where he is in the document, is dictated by kind of his blue cursor. So what he changes within the document I can see and he can see what we change exactly at the same time. So we could say, actually, if I select that and make that bold, can't type, but yeah, so I've said, so we put the heading in bold. And also, because Microsoft Teams is changing so much, I might say, is this slide still up to date? Recent changes. And you get the idea. You can collaborate. You can see what each other is writing. It's all in real time. Ian is working at home. I'm working at home. It's just a really good way of collaborating on a document outside of the office environment. So I'm going to close that conversation view at the moment. And then over here, you can close the document. Again, I don't have to save anything because it's all automatically saved. So, and then once you close it, it will take you back to the document there. Cool. So that's pretty much it for Teams. Once you have a team and channels and you start putting files in there, it's really powerful because those files are wherever you can access Teams. So I'm at home on my laptop using Microsoft Teams, and I can access those files wherever we may be. As a company, we only use Microsoft Teams to store our files because it literally means if we want to, or if we have to, like we currently are, we can work literally anywhere we have an internet connection and work collaboratively and just as productively as if we're in the office. That's it for now. I'll see you on the next video.